What happens if you follow Warren Buffett's strategy with just $100 in 2026? It sounds almost ridiculous, right? A strategy built for billionaires, tested with pocket money. But that's exactly what I decided to do. No theory, no motivation talk, no fake guru advice. Just a real test, with real pressure and real emotions, because everyone online keeps repeating the same thing. Warren Buffett is the greatest investor of all time. Just buy good companies and hold forever. Be patient and you'll win. It sounds simple. Too simple. And whenever something sounds that simple in money, it's usually not. So I wanted to find out the truth the hard way. Does Buffett's strategy actually work for normal people? Or is it just something that sounds good, but breaks down in reality? So I took $100, not $10,000, not $1,000, just $100, because that's where most people actually start. And I forced myself to follow 3 core rules inspired by Buffett's philosophy. Rule number 1, only invest in businesses I understand. Rule number 2, no panic selling, no matter what happens. Rule number 3, think long term, even if everything in my brain screams to quit. Sounds easy, it's not. Before I even invested a single dollar, I hit the first problem. What does a business you understand even mean? Most people think they understand companies until they actually try to explain how those companies make money. So I had to slow down. I avoided hype, no trending stocks, no crypto, no get-rich-quick nonsense. I picked a company that felt boring, stable, predictable. The kind of company people don't brag about on social media. And honestly, that alone felt wrong. Because we're trained to chase excitement, not stability, but I stuck to the plan. Day 1, I invested, and nothing happened. No excitement, no instant gains, just numbers on a screen. Day 2, still nothing. Day 3, the stock dropped. Not a crash, just a small drop. But here's the thing nobody tells you. When it's your money, even a small drop feels personal. It messes with your head. You start thinking, did I pick the wrong stock? Should I get out now before it gets worse? Maybe this strategy doesn't work anymore. And suddenly, all that long-term thinking disappears. By day 5, it dropped again. Now, it wasn't just a random movement. It felt like a pattern. And this is where most people fail, not because the strategy is bad, but because the pressure becomes real. Buffett has a famous quote, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." It sounds powerful, but living it? Completely different story. Because when others are fearful, it usually means prices are falling. And when prices are falling, your brain doesn't say buy more, it says run. At this point, I had a choice: sell and protect what's left, or hold and trust a strategy built decades ago in a completely different market. And I'll be honest with you, holding felt stupid. It didn't feel smart. It didn't feel disciplined. It felt like ignoring danger, like watching something go wrong and doing nothing. But I reminded myself, this is the test, not just of the strategy, but of my behavior. So I held. Day 7, small recovery, nothing crazy. But enough to make me think, okay, maybe it's stabilizing. Day 10, it went up again. Now things started to feel different, not safe, but less painful. And that's when something interesting happened. My emotions started flipping. The same stock that made me nervous was now giving me confidence. Not because the fundamentals changed, but because the price moved slightly in my favor. And that's dangerous, because it shows how easily we're influenced by short-term results. By day 14, I was slightly up. Not rich, not even close, but positive. And suddenly, I started believing in the strategy again. That's when I realized something important. Most people don't follow strategies. They follow feelings. When things go down, they abandon the plan. When things go up, they think they're geniuses, and that cycle destroys them. So I kept going. No changes, no adjustments, just holding. By day 20, the movement slowed again. Small ups, small downs, nothing exciting. And honestly, This is the hardest part. Not losing money, not gaining money, but waiting. Because waiting feels like wasting time. And in a world built on instant results, patience feels like failure. By day 30, I checked the final result. Did I become rich? No. Did I double my money? No. Did I lose everything? Also no. The result was modest, small gain, nothing impressive. And that's exactly the point. Because here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Buffett's strategy is not exciting. It's not fast. It doesn't give you viral moments. It gives you slow, steady, boring progress. And most people can't handle that. Not because it doesn't work, but because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't give you dopamine. It doesn't give you instant validation. It tests your patience, your discipline, your ability to do nothing when doing nothing feels wrong. So does Buffett's strategy work? Yes, but only under one condition. You have to survive yourself, your fear, your impatience, your need for quick results. Because the real enemy isn't the market, it's your behavior. And here's where things get even more real. Testing this with $100 is easy. The pressure is limited. The risk feels small. But what happens when it's $1,000 or $10,000 or your life savings? That's where most people break, because the strategy stays the same, but the emotions get louder, much louder. So my final conclusion is simple. If you're looking for fast money, this strategy will destroy you. You'll quit too early. You'll panic too quickly. You'll chase something else. But if you can control yourself, if you can stay consistent, if you can think long-term, even when it feels wrong, then yes, this strategy can work. Not because it's magic, but because it forces you to act differently than everyone else. And in markets, different behavior is what creates results. So the question isn't, does Buffett's strategy work? The real question is, can you actually follow it? Because after this experiment, I realized something uncomfortable. The strategy isn't the hard part. You are. And maybe that's why most people never succeed with it. Because they're not willing to face that truth. Now here's what I'm thinking next. This was just $100, a small test, low pressure. So what if I take this further? What if I run the same experiment, but with $1,000? More risk, more pressure, more real. If you want to see that, then stay tuned. Because the next test might not be this calm, and the results might surprise both of us.